Let's take a look at an easier way to open and navigate your images. Mini Bridge was added in CS5. The performance got far better in CS6, and I believe the layout is better too. Having it here right at the bottom of your screen feels a lot like Lightroom to me. Lightroom is another Photoshop product used primarily by high-end photographers as a standalone application. In Mini Bridge, I'm seeing my computer. I'll double-click on Desktop to navigate there, double-click on Assets, and we're working on Chapter 2, so I'll double-click on the Chapter 2 folder and the Vienna folder. So here, in Mini Bridge, I can get large color previews. As I slide to the right or the left, I can get more detail. I can also click on an image and right-click and get a context-sensitive menu. If you're on a Mac laptop and you don't have a right-click on your mouse, you can hold down the Control key and click once to get this context-sensitive menu. Not the Command key, but Control, a key you hardly ever touch. Control clicking on the Mac is equivalent to right-clicking on Windows. But on my Mac, I've got a right button. So here, I could make favorites. I could individually rename a file. If I choose rename, a more logical name for this image is Birdhouse. And where I'm tempted to do a space, I'll use an underscore, so my name is fully email compliant and web compliant. When I press Return or Enter, it resorts it alphabetically. If I right-click again or Control-click again, I can actually place that directly into Adobe InDesign or open it in Camera Raw. Even though it was shot as a JPEG and not in one of the RAW formats of the high-end cameras, I can use Camera Raw features on it. In Photoshop, I can also get to frequently used actions. If this was a scene of 2 or 3 shots taken with my camera, I could do photo merge and build a panoramic. But in this case, none of them work because I only have a single image selected. To dissect other parts of the Mini Bridge window, you have your file path here, indicating where the image is stored or where you opened it from. This little BR button reveals it in the standalone program Adobe Bridge, which is how Mini Bridge was born. I can hit my back and forward arrows to go up a level or back into this Vienna folder. Here, I can select all or deselect all, or even do a slideshow. Let's take a look at slideshow. First, I'll select all. So I've done my select all, and I'll come back to this tiny little menu, the view menu, and choose slideshow. In the slideshow mode, it should autoplay. If not, you can use your right arrow keys or left arrow keys to have it go forward or back. Once you use your right arrow keys or left arrow keys, it does stop the auto playing, so you navigate to each image using your arrow keys. But I'm too impatient to wait, so I'll just hit my right arrow key on my keyboard, where your right, left, up, down arrows are stored. The 4 should be together. And I could go through every image, but if I want to just exit out, I don't want to look at all the images, escape is very important to know. And when I hit escape, Mini Bridge guided me to the last image I was on, and my arrow keys also work here. So I quit out before the second to last image. Too impatient. But now I can navigate left and right. And finally, the 2 other menus that you have past this view menu, you have the sort menu. It defaults to sorting by file name, but you could sort by many other things, by width, by height, by a rating that you can give it. And then over here, we have filters. If you have given ratings to images when you're reviewing all of your shots, I can show just the 5-star images. I haven't rated any of these, so it makes everything disappear. I'll click again, and I'll clear the filter out because they're all technically unrated. I could search for something, If I type the word bird, the only thing that comes up is the birdhouse. If I hit this X, I can clear that search, which is filtering to only the one image. And finally, you can hide certain parts of this, but I really don't like to. If you're always working in the same folder, you could hide the navigation pod to see more images. I can click this panel menu again. That is the technical term for this area. The 4 little lines with the down arrow is technically called the panel menu. I'll show my navigation pod. You could also hide your toolbar, which shows the file path, but I always like to see that as well, so I'll turn that back on. So I hope you find this a good introduction to Adobe Mini Bridge. It's been there for 2 versions, and it's a far easier way to open and navigate your files rather than using File Open, which may give you tiny little previews. Play with Mini Bridge yourself, check out its menus, and it is resizable. I should mention that if you want bigger previews, you simply stretch Mini Bridge to take up more of your screen. That is the end of our Mini Bridge tour.